it's obviously the month of Conference USA midweek games, but there's some other profound things going on in the month of October. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is this month. Don't know if you noticed, but I've had myself and Coach Lowry have both had pink laces like in our shoes, and obviously we've had people close to us affected by breast cancer. And so with that being said, I just needed to acknowledge as we come to the end of the month about where we've been with the acknowledgement of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also, we get an opportunity to get back home. It's good to get an opportunity to get back in Johnny Red Floyd Stadium, where we have a chance to play against a really good team this week in Jack State. And to go along with it, just happens to be Halloween. So hopefully, man, when you come to the game, man, you got your costumes ready, man, because there's going to be, kids trick-or-treating on the concourse. And I know our event staff people have a lot of things prepared for this game. So fraternities and sororities will probably show up, and it'll be interesting to see. I won't get a chance to see it, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with the best costume contest going on, and like who wins that prize. But we got a bigger prize at stake as we get ready to take on Jack State. Really good football team. Obviously 3-0 in conference. Charles Kelly and I, have history, and I appreciate Coach Kelly, for what he is. I mean, he's a ball coach. He's a hard coaching guy. His football team sort of reflects where they're at right now in terms of their grind. They're coming off a bye. And, when you look at them offensively, you get a football team and who's rushed for, 300 yards in 3 games this season. So they're a physical bunch. They like to run the football. You're talking 47 to 52 snaps a game rushing. So they're going to control the clock. Okay, they're going to limit your possessions, and what we have to do here is get ready to defend the run, but also score points ourselves. So this is going to be a contest of wills, their DNA and their identity versus ours. And I think, as you've seen every week, we're gaining momentum, and we're getting a little better. We got to clean up some mistakes, but the reality is this ball game is going to be a good one. It's going to be a good midweek game to watch. Their great defense versus an offense that's gaining some steam, and defensively, man, we're going to have to hold up and find ways to get this group led by Caden Creel off the field. So, with that being said, I'll open it up for questions.
Coach, what do you think is going to be the biggest test for you all, whether that's mentally, physically, and on either side of the ball?
Yeah, competitive stamina, right? I mean, that's this idea of competing, to a standard regardless of time restriction. That's what this thing's gonna come down to. We've got to start fast, and we got to play a 60-minute ball game. And I know you've heard that before, but this team's getting closer to that. But we have to eliminate the mistakes, the 4 to 5 plays a game. And I'm not talking about explosives. I'm not talking about plays where guys are playing football. I'm talking about just key mistakes that sort of stall opportunities for success. So they do a good job of eliminating their mistakes, and we have to be able to do the same to be able to stay in this arena. So that's the challenge.
Cam Cook, how much of what he has done is on his shoulders, and how much has their offensive line been just really good all year? Or a lot of both?
A lot of both. I think Cam Cook's one of the best running backs in the country, proven by the stats. He's close to hitting 1,000 yards. He needs 51 rushing yards to do that. And I don't care if you're playing option football or you're playing, whatever style football you're playing, a running back. This tightly into the midseason, close to 1,000 yards. That says something about who he is. Obviously, up front, they're extremely athletic. They move the line of scrimmage. They can get to the second level. But when you watch Cam Cook and what he does, it's pretty impressive. He's a patient runner. He's physical. He runs behind his pass, but he's got great contact balance. You don't see him go down with first contact. And then, just looking at the 1-2 punch between him and Paul, they've got a good running back tandem.
The defensive line and even the linebacker unit for them have been able to make some splash plays. What has impressed you with their front seven this season?
You know, their front seven is active. I think it's a pressure group. Again, if you go back and look at, Brian Williams, their DC, and what he did at Maryland, it sort of mimics and sort of copies some things that Coach Kelly has been about in his career. It's pressure. It's being able to send blitzes, like from everywhere. It's about being able to crowd you, like even on first downs, to get you off schedule. And they're a physical bunch. They're gonna play big up front, man. They've got some space eaters up front, man, who do a good job of penetrating and eating up double teams, which allows the backers to shoot gaps and play downhill. And they will bring pressure on your quarterback. So you have to know and understand what you want to do. You got to build your plan around knowing that you're going to get, pressures. Some of it formationally, some of it by hash or boundary. So it's going to be a chess match for us. We have to know what they do and find ways to attack that and keep them off balance.
Coach, talking about, obviously Jack State's D-line, but your own D-line has been strong at times this year. What,
Yeah.
Have some positive things you've seen from them as they prepare to tee off against Cam Cook and that strong offensive line this week?
Well, I think our D-line's been strong all year. I don't think it's been part of the year. I think those guys, I don't care who they played, man, they've been physical. Our edges at times has gotten soft, but when you talk about the middle of the defense, man, it sort of is what it is, right? This group, our groups, got to do what they do, and they'll tell you that when you get a chance to, and talk with DeMonte. We're gonna build a wall, set an edge, and track a hip, and the setting edges and tracking hips are important because that's where the hidden yardage is. To me, it's about 11 hats to the ball. Man, you have to have as much pursuit to the ball, and when you do that, teams like to run reverses and trick plays, and that's what this group will do. Right? They're going to challenge our rules defensively, so we have to play smart, be sound, tackle well, and get off the field on third down.
And Coach, untimely penalties have kind of kept the opposing team on the field this often this season. I think back to Abdul Muhammad last week, gets a unsportsmanlike conduct, comes off the field, comes back on, and, seemingly kind of is back to chirping a little bit. All that to say, how do you balance the discipline side of things while also playing the players that give you the best chance to win at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's right now, winning and losing is about the margins, okay? And when you look at the margins of it, the margins are small. I told guys, if you're not an emotional practice guy, don't all of a sudden raise up and start talking trash on game day and thinking that you're going to control it, right, man? Because that's not who you are. If you're going to be that, you got to be that every day. Because then, man, you know how to walk up to the line and not cross the line, right? And so we've had some guys, again, whether it's folks or parents or this or that, I was like, man, be who you are. Okay, if that's not your game, then don't play that game. And it makes more sense to give your teammate energy. Hey, man, you made a play, you get off the field. Hey, man, celebrate with your teammate. How about that? Let's try that on, right? No penalties and the ability to actually celebrate. That's what we're looking for. And again, when you show guys these things, they think these things sort of happen in a vacuum. They don't, right? They're happening at the most untimely, of times for us when we're trying to play some of the best ball we can play. So they get it. Now what we got to do, because Jack State's going to challenge us. Jack State's going to point, and Jack State's going to get up, and somebody's going to say something. And you know what? Really? Is that even a football play? If you're arguing with somebody, man, that's not even a football play. That's not even why you have on a uniform. So let's keep the main thing, right? And that's really been the focus to talk about, like this week as a lesson, because you either learn these things or these things continue to keep hitting you. And right now, man, they've continued to keep hitting us, so we got to be smarter.
Absolutely. An off-topic question here for you, Coach,
Yeah.
but the NCAA approved last week to allow college athletes and coaches to bet on pro sports. What is kind of just your thoughts on it and just how that'll shake out?
Well, we've seen it shake out in a lot of different areas, right? And we've seen it in professional basketball and how that turns out. I just think, when you start talking about, gambling and betting, man, that's a slippery slope, right? Young people can become vulnerable because they think there's nothing to it. But really, at the end of the day, man, you could find yourself losing some of your livelihood just solely based on trying to get ahead. You know, there's things in place for our student athletes, coaches. I just think it's a non-thing. I mean, this is my own belief. Okay, you dabble in that world if that's who you are. It's not who I am, and whoever wants to do it, man, that's great. But I think there's some evils and some things in and around it that could be tough, right? Some things that people compromise at times, and so like you worry about your student athletes getting into this space. You worry about your coaches getting into this space because you think nobody knows. But nowadays they're tracking everything. Okay, everything is digitally tracked, so these things are going to show up, and when it shows up, man, you're going to have to pay consequences. So to me, if you can handle that part of your life, great. I think young people, 18 to 22, I think that's a slippery slope.
New staff in Jack State and a lot of new players on both sides, but you guys gave up over 400 rushing yards to them last year. Is there anything you're taking away from that loss to put towards this year's game?
Yeah, man, it's a physical team that likes to run the ball. I don't think much of their DNA has changed, like under, Coach Kelly. When you look at it again, Coach Trickett, being there and establishing that DNA, I think they are who they are. But when you look at that ball game was close at halftime, right? So, I mean, it's not like we can't play in this ball game. We have to find ways to get off the field on third down and get these guys behind the chains a little bit. And, again, Creel is, not only is he a dual-threat quarterback, but I put down some notes, just poise, patience, good arm, great instincts. He takes care of the football, right? So we have to be creative in ways to be able to get these guys off schedule.
You talked about the offense gaining steam, and part of that, in the last 2 weeks, Hunter Tipton's had 12 catches, 7 1 week, 5 the next, or vice versa, whichever one it is. Is that one of the big things that has helped open this up a little bit, and where do you see it needing to go to take even the next level?
Well, I tell you what, we've worked ourselves to a point where now I think it's about the explosive plays, right? We got enough balance in the offense. Guys are getting the ball. Anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. Running backs, receivers, tight ends, anybody can get the ball. Now what we have to do is take advantage of one-on-one opportunities with explosives. There's been 3 or 4 times, like in games, and we have to hit those. So 2 shots a quarter. Okay, we're gonna take them. So there's going to be 2 shots a quarter. So you're going to see the ball get up, man. You're going to see the one-on-one opportunity, and our guys can go make some plays. We're not going to be afraid to go do that. So we have to increase explosive opportunities for ourselves, and if we do that, I think we can put ourselves in a better position.
Anything else, Coach?
Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Hey, happy Halloween.
How y'all doing?
DeMonte, talk a little bit about the challenge that Jack State's running game causes across the board, and what is it going to take for you guys to kind of keep them corralled somewhat?
It's a challenge, but we up for it. I mean, they're a good running team. They got the number one. Their running back. He the top running back in the country for the total yards. So I feel like it'll be a good challenge, and we up for it. Like, it's just another day that we just get a challenge to go play football and start to run how we taught to do.
As a leader for you all, looking at film, certain things like that, what have you been really preaching or saying to your teammates to really help with the interior to stop Cam Cook and other people like that?
For the front, as a D-line, we knockback, consistent with knockback and leveraging our gaps. So, like, because he like to wind it back, and, like, you can't just give up the small yardage like that where you miss tackles or you ain't in your gap. So we just got to stay in our gap with leverage and tackle. Don't try to arm tackle because he going to run through it. He run hard. I give him that. He run hard.
Facing a running back like Cam Cook, how disciplined do you have to be in your gaps this week?
Very disciplined. You have to be very disciplined because he's not going down from one tackler. I mean, like, I don't know what to say. He a good running back. I give him that. But, like, we got to do what we've been doing the whole season and just do it for 60 minutes, one play at a time.
How important has getting Alex Mitchell been, getting him back these past couple weeks?
It's been important. I mean, he did what he supposed to do on terms of like getting back on the field, like his rehab and stuff. He worked hard to get back, so I'm just excited to be back on the field playing with him.
Circling back to facing off against Cam Cook, nation's leading rusher, what's the mindset of lining up across the line of scrimmage from a guy like that?
The mindset is stop the run, build the walls, set the edge, track the hill, like Coach Mason said. We just got to play relentless, and it's man with a man.
One thing we hear a lot about is run fit, gap control, things like that. When somebody has a run game like they do, does it change the way that you go about being aggressive? Like if you're, from a passing quarterback, you're trying to apply a lot of pressure there, or do you try to sit back and try to control the line of scrimmage a little bit, and always have to know where he is, the running back?
It's not different. I mean, cause that's who we are. We practice it every day, so we just practice knock back and like control your gap. That's all it is. Like just knock back, just play on their side of the line of scrimmage. That's what we got to do. But we do that every day in practice, and that's what we taught to do. So we gonna do that.
Okay, what was your best Halloween outfit, and what's your favorite Halloween candy?
I like Snickers, but I
knew that was coming.
I like Snickers and Twix, and my favorite Halloween costume. I want to say I was like 8 or 9 years old. I had the scream mask with like the blood coming down the face, and cause it was hitting, so you couldn't see it. Cause I had the whole costume on, but it was scream with the bloody mask. I think I'm gonna be Michael Myers this year though.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank y'all.
Hunter, talk a little bit about you becoming more of a force in the offense. 12 catches over the last 2 weeks. Has that been a product of you getting more comfortable, or has it been a product of just the offense developing over time, week by week?
First, I just want to praise God, but to answer your question, I just say just stepping up into my role and building that connection week by week with Nick, and yeah, just doing what I need to do when the ball comes my way.
What has been the conversation like between you and Nick, but also just offensively, like as a whole, with the wide receivers, running backs, obviously tight ends, for y'all to continue to be dominant on the field?
We know we got to score points when it comes down to it. We just got to score points, and the conversation with me and Nick is just like I said, building that trust when it comes down to it.
The whole tight end room has really taken a step forward as the years gone on. As the veteran in the room, what have you been impressed with the young guys in the room?
Yeah, I've really been impressed with that. Tavion Callaway and Evan Potiker, like, I don't think it's like a step down. Like, if I was to get hurt or anything like that, Tavion's the guy to step up, and Evan's the guy to step up, and I'd say they're just as good.
Talk about Jack State's defense. They're known for playing a physical brand of football. What do you see from them on film?
I would say they bring a lot of pressure, and they're pretty physical.
Does it, from your standpoint, sometimes being a blocker, sometimes being a pass catcher, it's going to, as far as protections this week, is it going to be that much more important to protect Nick, keep him upright?
Yes, sir. I'll just say it's just like any other week. Win the one-on-ones when we're in the pass game, and win the one-on-ones when we're in the run game.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Okay, what was your best Halloween costume, and what is your favorite Halloween candy?
Halloween costume, not a big Halloween guy, but candy, I'd go with Reese's.
Okay.
Reese's.
What's the best Halloween costume you've ever seen?
Ooh, I seen a dog one on TikTok not too long ago. It's pretty good.